What's going on, everybody? Spaceballs here. Welcome back to another Awaken Chaos Era video. Alright, everyone. Today we're going to fully showcase Sylan. She came to the game a couple days ago. Really excited for this one. I was lucky enough to pull her from my free summon, so I built her right away and I got her into some content. I'm absolutely loving her. At first look, she looks really good because of the AoE stun. Her cooldowns are a little bit long, and I think she's paired perfectly with Wintrex, which we'll talk about in this video. But I've been absolutely loving her. I'm using her in everything at this point. Bounty hunts, Void Tower, Arena. She's not going to be great in guild boss content or boss content in general because of what she does. Her kit is more of a support. You could definitely get use out of her in the gear dungeons because of her A1 and A2, the way it synergizes together and gives her a defense break and a defense buff. But I feel like that's not really her place. I feel like her main place is Arena, Void Tower, and Bounty Hunts. So for this video, we're going to showcase Sylan. I'm going to show you where she's good, my build, all of that great stuff. And then at the end of the video, we're running a bunch of content. You guys can draw your conclusion on Sylan. At first glance, I kind of wanted to build her as a damage dealer, and I realized really fast that her base attack is really low. I mean, you could still build her as a damage dealer with a low base attack. Obviously, you can just stack crit rate and crit damage, and then the damage will just scale off the crit damage. But at the same time, I was looking at her kit. I had her built fully as a damage dealer. I did switch some gear around recently, I think yesterday or the day before, and I like this build much better than the DPS build that I had on her originally. It is important that you have enough focus on her so she lands her stun and her defense break, all the great stuff that comes along in her kit. She also has actually down as well, so you definitely want to have enough focus on her. I am lacking a little bit at this point, but I haven't noticed too much of a problem with it. I believe in this build, I have her at about 60%, and it's working great. She lands the stun basically 9 times out of 10, so I'm okay with that. Eventually, I do want to get her at that 75-85% focus, and I think as I move up in Arena, having that 75-85% focus is going to be important. But right now, I'm loving this build. We have 203% crit damage, 78% crit rate, 173 speed, and then attack I don't really care about too much, as you guys can see at 2300. It's just really hard to stack attack on her with a 900 base attack. If her base attack was 1100 or 1200, then I would feel more suited to want to stack attack on her. But with her current base attack, I'd much rather stack HP and defense on her. So we do have nice HP and some good defense, good speed. Just a basic hybrid build at this point, and I think this is one of the best builds you can actually put on Sylan, to be quite honest. Because you do want her doing a little bit of damage, but at the same time, you also want her landing her stun. She's definitely not going to be your main DPS, but when it comes to Void Tower and Arena, and you pair her with Wintrex, you're going to get 2 turns of full control with her. And then on top of that, she has a really good A2 in trait. So let's break down the kit real quick, and then we'll go over the current gear that I have on her. So for the ultimate, we have deals 120% damage to all enemies with an 85% chance to inflict actually down for 1 turn. Also inflicts stuns on the target for 1 turn. Amazing ultimate, 4-turn cooldown. I do wish this was a 3-turn cooldown, but it is what it is. That's why I've been pairing her with Wintrex, and it's been working great. Because the rest of her kit is really good as well, and believe it or not, the actually down is actually a really good debuff to have in most content in the game. And then for the A2, we're going to have grants all team members defense up for 3 turns. This character will counterattack when teammates with defense up are attacked, dealing 80% damage with an 80% chance of inflicting defense down for 1 turn, and that is a 30% defense break. And that's also going to be on a 4-turn cooldown as well. And then on the A1, the basic, we have deals 100% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance to apply attack down for 1 turn. So you can see already she has so much going on in her kit. She has defense down, she has stun, she has actually down, and she has attack down. What a great support kit if I've ever seen one myself. And then on top of that, we have the trait, and I absolutely love this trait. The one thing to keep in mind about her trait is you do need to be Ascension 5 to get the second one unlocked, which is every turn instead of every 2 turns. But even every 2 turns is a really strong trait. And what that trait is when any team member is taking damage, provides a 30% chance of said damage being ineffective, can only be triggered once per turn. So what this means is if something comes in there, tries to nuke you, the damage is going to become null and void. Really good trait paired with the rest of her kit. Now the one thing about her kit is when I first looked at it, I was worried about the long cooldowns. And if you don't have Wintrex, these cooldowns can be a little harsh, especially because the A2 and the A3 are on a 4-turn cooldown. The one good thing about the A2 is that when you have this defense buff up for 3 turns, she will be proccing the defense down in the counterattack. That's one thing I didn't really take into consideration when I first looked at her kit, and this actually works really well. So it can be argued that you would build her completely as a support with no damage at all. I mean, it's really going to depend on how you want to use her and what content you want to use her in. If you're going to use her in endgame Arena in those tanky dwarf teams, I think she'd fit great in those teams as well. Then you're going to build her completely as a support unit. But if you're trying to use her in your nuking team, then I think having her as a hybrid is the best build for her. It really just, again, is going to depend on what content you want to use her in. But I would say she'll work either way, whether she's in a tanky build with 75% focus or a hybrid build with 75% focus. I definitely wouldn't recommend building her as a straight DPS because her damage just isn't good enough. I put her in my best DPS gear and her damage was just not great. I would much rather use her as support for those stuns, actually down, defense down, mitigating damage. That's going to be her place more than just dishing out that overall damage. So that's Sylan's kit. What a great kit. Absolutely loving it at this point. I maxed out her glyphs, I believe. I think I maxed out everything on her abilities, glyphs, everything. I was so excited to get her from my free summon. I couldn't wait to dump resources into her and get her into some action. So as far as my gear sets go, we have her into attack sets. I'm definitely going to be changing this in the near future. Most likely what I'm going to do is just build her as tanky as I possibly can with 75% accuracy. I do like the hybrid build, but I think once I get later into arena and stuff like that, the hybrid build isn't going to work as good as a tanky build would. But for now, it's working good, so I'm just going to leave it as it is until I see it becoming a problem, and then I'll change it. So we have her in speed boots. The one thing I don't like about this build is we have her in a crit rate ring. I definitely want to change this to an HP ring eventually. And then on the necklace, we're going to have attack. And again, I think having HP or defense might be better. Just due to the fact that our base attack is so low, we're not really getting much out of this 30% attack on the necklace. It is giving us 25% focus. I think that's the main reason I put it on there. Because I'm getting 25% focus and 30% attack in the same piece of jewelry. So for now, it's working well. Can't complain. We'll leave it as is. I think this is kind of the build you guys want to zero in for overall. Obviously, if you can get her more tankier with more, crit rate and crit damage, that's what you want to do. This is my secondary gear, and this is what I came up with, and it seems to work great right now. I'm only in Gold 3 Arena. I think I'm at 75 bounties, and I think 45 Void Tower hard, something like that. So I'm sure as I move up in content, I might want to change this build, or I'll have to change this build to make her useful. But right now, using her with Windtrex, I get 2 full turns of control, and I'm able to nuke twice in a row, and it just seems to work great at this point. So I already showed you guys the overall stats. I will show you again real quick so you guys can see them. 60% focus, that's one thing I want to change immediately. I definitely want to get this to 85% focus. I am happy with the crit rate and crit damage though, because when she does crit, we do get nice damage in there. I'm not saying it's amazing damage, but it does help. I think speed is also very important on Sylan. You definitely don't want her getting lapped in the round and getting nuked down or anything like that, especially if you have her on a hybrid build. I have mine speed tuned to move right after my Windtrex. Seems to work really well in arena content. That's basically what I'm using Sylan for, is arena content. And I do use her in Void Tower as well. She's been working really, really good in Void Tower hard, at least in the lower stages, 30 to 45, I believe. So that's my girl Sylan. Let's throw her to some content, see what she can do, and then I'll be right back. Enjoy. And poof, we're back. So as you guys saw, she does great paired with Windtrex. You get those full 2 turns of control. She does great in Void Tower. I'm actually very shocked with how good she actually is. I was really worried about her cooldowns and her being effective with that stun at 85%, but the stun seems to land most of the time. And when the stun doesn't land, you could just refresh her with Windtrex and land that stun the second time around. But it does help a lot, especially in early term arena. I want to say before you start getting into end game arena, especially when you're facing these nuking teams, she does really, really well against them. Because if you can't nuke on the first turn, you can just stun with Sylan and then nuke on the second turn. I don't know how effective she'll be on this build in late game arena, but if I was in late game arena, I would definitely have her in a more tankier build. But when it comes to Void Tower and Bounty Hunt, she is just awesome for it. What a great add to the game, I have to say. I'm absolutely in love with my Sylan at this point. And it's funny because when I pulled her on my free daily summon, I was like, she's not that great. I can't see her being that good. And then when I actually built her up and got her into some action, I realized really, really quick that she is a very, very solid support unit. Now, the thing is, I don't know how good she would be without Windtrex. I think Windtrex plays a big part in how much I'm loving my Sylan. I feel like if I didn't have Windtrex, I probably wouldn't be using her as much because Windtrex just makes her that much better. Windtrex makes a lot of units that much better, let's be honest. But like you guys saw, I have her speed tune to move after my Windtrex. Windtrex goes, she goes. It's a great combo. And then even if I can't nuke on the first turn, I'm able to nuke on the second turn because I have 2 back-to-back stuns. She is just a fantastic support paired with Windtrex. Can't say that enough. So if you have Windtrex, definitely pair her with your Sylan. It is a great combo to have. So in my book, to wrap this one up, I think Sylan is a great combo. If you have Windtrex, she's going to be that much better. But I want to know what you guys think. Were you lucky enough to pull Sylan already? Are you using her? What content are you using her in? What build do you have on her? I love to hear what you guys have to say, so comment down below and let me know what you're thinking. Thank you guys so much for the support here on YouTube. We are so close to 5,000 subs. Once we reach it, we'll start another sub celebration. If you want to follow me on Twitch and Discord, those are always linked down below. We do 2 monthly giveaways on Discord, random giveaways on Twitch. If you want to be a part of the random giveaway that we do here on YouTube, all you have to do is sub to the channel, like and comment on my past 10 videos, and that will automatically enter you to the random giveaway. I truly do love each and every single one of you. I will see you in the next one. Spaceballs out. Peace.